You ever walked into the world full of hope, excitement, and a heart that's bursting with dreams only to find out that the world is not what you thought it was? You step out with this childlike wonder thinking that people are going to see your heart, they're going to cheer you on, they're going to want to help and be a part of your success. But instead you're met with cold resistance and sometimes like outright hostility. And it doesn't take long for you to figure out that the world doesn't just fail to understand your nature, it literally despises it. You realize painfully that people, they're not maybe inherently evil, but they don't want to see you succeed, especially if your success starts to shine any brighter than theirs. If you dare to dream bigger or to think outside the box or to believe in something greater, then the world seems to take that personally, like you're, putting them down. And then your existence becomes a threat to those who have, everybody pretty much. And what's even more heartbreaking is you end up discovering that it's not because of anything you've done at all, but just because of who you are. That childlike spirit, that part of you that, believes in possibilities, that sees the potential in everything, gets punished. And you start to be excluded from everything, it seems like. And it's a strange and painful realization when you notice how much people resent the light that God's given you. And they don't say that outright, because their attacks are always going to be subtle. They're going to come as, dismissive remarks, backhanded compliments, exclusions, blackballing with jobs. They're going to try to stomp you out. They're going to downplay your dreams. They're going to mock your enthusiasm. They're going to do everything they can to make you doubt yourself. And the worst part is that even if you try to play by their rules, it doesn't change a thing. You're thinking maybe if I just, tone it down, if I just fit in, that they'll accept me. You start to shrink yourself. You tone down your dreams. You make yourself smaller so that you can be more palatable. And I guess just to gain their acceptance and approval. But then they still want to punish you continuously. And you figure out it's never been about your behavior. It's about your spirit. Your spirit irritates people who've given up on theirs, and your willingness to dream and be positive and stuff like that. It irritates these people. It reveals shadows that they try to hide, and they're going to punish you for it because there's more of them. They'll do it with psychological games that are designed to make you question yourself completely. It's a lonely road when you realize that the world that you tried to embrace is determined to reject you. And, if you're walking this road without God protecting you, then it's unbearable almost. God's presence makes it, He shields you from that. But if you don't have that actively on you, it's like the world will swallow you up, So if you venture into the world without God, you're walking in unprotected onto a battlefield, and this world operates on a system of power and control, and it thrives on anyone who refuses to conform. And if they know your kind of spirit, they're not going to reward that. They're going to mock that. They're going to tear that down. They're going to replace that with fear and cynicism. And the thing is that, the world's rejection is not a sign that you're wrong. It's a sign that you're different from the world, which is a good thing. It's different to a dangerous system built on sameness. The enemy of your soul knows that your childlike spirit is powerful, and the enemy knows that your dreams, when fueled by faith, can move mountains. So the enemy likes to use the world, which he rules, to tear you down and make you feel like there's something wrong with you, because that is the spirit that God has given you. He wants you to believe that you're the problem, that your light is a flaw instead of a gift. And if he can get you to accept that lie, then the enemy wins. You start to retreat, you start to pull back, you start to get even further from God and the calling that God placed on your life, because this world wants you to give up. It wants you to shrink into the shadows, play small, wants you to feel disheartened so that you never dare to dream again, because that's what the enemy's done to most people. And you're not even looking down on people. It just comes to a point where you just want to go back home and never leave again. You're just if this is what the world's like, then I don't want no part of it. You long for that sense of belonging that you had before you stepped out into the chaos. But, you were never meant to do this without God, because when you walk with God, then everything is different. God doesn't promise that the world will suddenly become kind or easy, because it won't, but he does promise that he will be with you every step of the way. And you have to always be anchored in that, because the rejection of the world, it'll break you if not, And if you're with God, though, it strengthens you. When the world tells you you're not enough, God tells you that you're more than enough because I made you. When people try to exclude you, God reminds you that you're already included in his kingdom. And so with God, you stop seeking the world's approval because you realize that you already have his approval. And the truth is that the world can never embrace you because you were not meant to belong to it. The devil rules the world. You belong to God. You carry God's light and his purpose and his calling, and that's why the world fights so hard to try to break you and go against you. It's not just rejecting you, it's rejecting God because that's what you're a part of. And the world, this is the good part. The world can't stop what God has ordained, no matter how much resistance you face, no matter how many people try to tear you down. They can't stop the plans that God has for your life. Their rejection does not define you. God does. So what do you do with all that once you figure that out? How do you navigate a world that just seems to be, insistent on crushing your dreams and hating your spirit? You got to return to God, and you got to let him remind you of who you are, and you got to let, your wounds heal and understand that this is the way the world is. And you're not a victim because you're a warrior, because you are the more powerful one, but the world isn't going to validate that unless, they have to, because that's the way the world works. Your childlike spirit is, with God, they can view it as they can be all cheering and stuff. And without it, they're going to mock you and reject you and stone you and make you shrink and make you, they don't like it, but it's just, the world's a funny place, But I guess, we're not sent here to fit in because we're not of the world. The whole world lies in the power of the wicked one. But we are from God, But the world didn't give you your light, and they can't take it away either. God did. So, never forget that you're here for a reason, and, reconnect with God, because this world is I'm not trying to be all Debbie Downer, but this world is a place of just, it's pretty shisty and shady and pretty backstabbing and conniving out there. I'll tell you that much. Not everybody. There's good people. I'm not saying anybody. I'm not talking crap. It's just, that's the way it is, y'all. People they want to break you down. They want to break you down, and it's not going to happen. But that's the way it is without God, So you have to cherish that and have to reconnect with that. But anyways, I'll talk to y'all later. God bless.